the pressure is felt by Eddie Howe to change it around, but there is not necessarily a threat to his job. But this game is a little bit different.
Come and meet me where the lights are low, everybody. Welcome to the Football Ramble preview show. The FA Cup third round is upon us. It's Friday, 5th of January. I'm Marcus Speller.
I'm Jim Campbell.
I'm Luke Moore.
And I'm Vidushan Huntaraja.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's bloody Friday again, and it feels very good.
Where are the keys?
They'll be out soon. Don't you worry about that.
Good.
Don't jump the gun.
And for new listeners, that is literally keys,
Yeah.
not a metaphor for Marcus's cock and balls.
What a way to start the show.
What a great way to get us underway. The FA Cup third round is here. It's happened. It's happening.
Started.
We're in the middle of it.
Middle's not quite accurate.
Okay, okay, fine. Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you could be forgiven for thinking it hasn't started yet based on last night.
What do you mean, a Thursday night game between two teams who aren't asked on ITV4?
yeah, it's crap. It's absolute crap.
Crystal
What a
Palace-
curtain raiser.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. Shola's Champions League Apple tweeted us, this game hasn't been good enough for ITV4. It should have gone straight to Dave.
Yeah, that's disrespectful to the world's most dangerous roads, isn't it?
Yes,
Also on Dave. You know, there's a lot of good stuff on Dave.
Like X.
That's absolutely like X, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got very few notes for this game. One of them just says Roy's little hood.
Oh, yeah.
See
yeah,
Roy's
no,
hood at the
yeah,
start.
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That gave us something at least.
Yeah.
That did.
I know that owls don't wear hoods, but it made him look more owl-like somehow.
Do they not when they're like transported?
That's falcons, isn't it? That's birds of
Oh,
prey.
is it?
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
It's because they get frightened, I think.
They get kidnapped all the time.
Yeah, I don't think you need to do it for owls. I don't know. I'm out of my comfort zone here, but I don't think you need to.
Right, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The big talking point of the game, of course, was Dominic Calvert-Lewin being sent off for dangerous play after a VAR review on his slide tackle on Nathaniel Klein. He's now banned for 2 games. He blew a kiss to the Crystal Palace fans by the tunnel, waving him off. A lot of debate about this, a lot of chat online, some fierce opinions. Vitushan, where do you stand on this one?
I genuinely don't really care, but I don't think it was a red card.
I don't either.
You don't think it was a red card?
No,
Why is that?
Marcus does.
Because
This is all building up to Marcus telling you why you're wrong.
Yeah,
Just enjoy
I know,
it for now.
Yeah, I just don't think it was a red card. I do think that for someone with different eyes, that the kissy blue would have been regarded as shithousery. But when ITV4 slowed it down, I had to remind myself I wasn't watching, Love Island After Hours, because that was quite a sensual
He's a beautiful
blowing
man.
of the kiss.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very nice.
You're not going to elaborate on the red card then?
Well, no, I mean, literally that is the discussion, really, isn't it? I didn't see it as particularly dangerous. I think it was, he scuffed a little bit of his ankle on the way through.
Shin.
Sorry, yeah, shin on the way through, and I think everyone has. We've seen so many of these decisions before,
We
and
have.
you're going to tell me why you probably think it was a red card because it was
Mike Dean,
a foot off the ground.
I just want you to get your opinions
dangerous
out of the
play,
way.
etc. That's what you're going to say.
Well, do you
isn't
not
it?
think it was a red card, Jim?
I don't think it was a red card. No.
I'm
But
fascinated.
I think I know what you're going to say, but I won't preempt it because,
That's very kind
They're
of
your
you.
own words.
Well, I understand why people think it was a bit. What are you laughing at?
No, I'm not. I'm waiting to hear what your justification
It
is.
just, to me, he's gone in recklessly there with his studs up. He was sent off for serious foul play. Serious foul play is a tackle or challenge. This is on the FA website. A tackle or challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent or uses excessive force or brutality, and it must be sanctioned as serious foul play. Any player who lunges at an opponent in challenging for the ball from the front, from the side, or from behind using one or both legs with excessive force or endangers the safety of an opponent is guilty of serious foul play.
See, I don't think it meets that criteria
I
at all.
don't think it was excessive force.
It never endangered Nathaniel Klein's leg.
I don't think so.
No.
Not at that pace. Look at I know it's a different competition technically, but look at the Kai Havertz one against Newcastle. That was VAR.
quicker.
Wasn't given a red.
The inconsistency of the decisions, I'm not going to defend, but for me, I can totally see why.
Fair enough.
That was given.
Fair enough. Look, I think.
But if he'd have caught it, but are you suggesting that if he'd have caught him more, because it's not defined as how much contact was actually made on the shin, but, a degree to the right or left, he would have properly.
No, my interpretation would be that it's not at fast enough pace to be dangerous.
Same. I don't think it was quick enough.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I
don't think you can call it excessive force.
No, I don't either. Given that Nathaniel Klein was okay and all the rest of it, I was absolutely delighted it happened though, because that game was dreadful. And
we needed something.
I think VAR might have done us all a solid there by just
Massively.
giving us something to talk about.
Sometimes you've got to be careful what you wish for when you're asked to get rid of VAR.
Before that, I had Roy's little hood
Yeah.
and a nice bit of commentary where Anana passed to Ghana, and I hope they'd signed Adam Lallana. That's what we're talking about. If you didn't watch the game, this is what we're scrapping for when you've got to talk about it the next day.
And that's the thing. People listening to this have got the right to not watch the game.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I've never felt more like this was a job than last night.
I'm sitting there thinking, I've got to stick with this.
Yeah.
Why's the darts finished?
I saw a clip of I might have mentioned this on Wednesday's show. Saw a clip of Roy pinging balls into the players in training.
Still got it.
But he's still got his little shorts on. And
Yeah.
you know when they sort of lift up an owl's fur.
Yeah.
Fur.
At least I've
Feathers.
got pyjamas on.
And they've got their little legs.
Yeah.
It's a bit like with Roy, isn't it? When
Yeah.
you see his legs out, you think, oh yeah, I don't see that often.
He looks like an owl, Marcus.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right.
He looks massive like an owl.
I'm adding to that.
Yeah, you should.
Right.
But I think
Thanks.
owls always look like they've got pyjama trousers on.
Yeah.
If you look at a photo of an owl in flight, when its legs are coming down, so it's going to grab with its talons
Terrifying.
a piece of prey, very effective and successful predators, of course, they look like they've got pyjamas on their legs.
And they run sometimes. They're actually very derpy animals as well. I read that they're no more intelligent than the average bird, apparently.
Right.
Bit of a myth that they're wise. And that they look quite dumb sometimes.
Corvids
I enjoy it.
Corvids are the most intelligent
Very
ones.
smart.
Yeah.
Trying to befriend some at the moment,
Yeah,
actually.
you should.
Definitely. Well, let us know how you get on there.
It's actually going really well. I'm just leaving seed outside the bedroom window.
Clever.
Whose seed?
Dear,
That's a legitimate question.
Let's move on. It's not a legitimate question. Let's move on quickly. Sunderland versus Newcastle.
Here we go.
Tomorrow at 12:45. The first time we're derby since March 2016. It's the first FA Cup meeting between these two since 1955-56 season.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That is quite something, but that's just the luck of the draw.
Indeed.
And Sunderland's record against Newcastle is pretty decent.
Unbeaten in 9.
It's really good.
Yeah.
6 wins in there as well.
Yeah. You saw they're prepared for the game quite well.
Well, they started so well.
Everything's gone swimmingly, hasn't it?
There was so much confidence until very recently, and we'll come on to why. And I cannot believe that they've managed to torpedo this so much.
Yeah, so this is
a bazooka to their own feet.
If you haven't seen this, a bar at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland's ground, of course, was redecorated for away fans. It's the away fans bar, so they thought the away fans are going to be here, so let's make them feel at home. Let's do that. That'll be a nice thing.
Which, first of all, is the opposite to what you should be doing anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
You just leave the walls blank.
Yeah.
They've got a bar. That's what else do they need? For crying out loud. The bar was redecorated rather, with Newcastle slogans. There is, you look at the pictures. It's keep the black and white flag flying
The worst
high.
one is cheer up Peter Reid.
Cheer up, Peter Reid. Just in a little window behind the bar,
A dig.
above the red wine.
A dig at their own club.
I know. If they just painted it like black and white for the day and they did that for all away fans, I think that would be a bit silly.
Yeah.
But I can sort of see it. But as you say, Luke, they are slagging off one of their club
so
legends.
funny. Also, there was one that Howe and Howe is spelt slightly differently in Newcastle and Sunderland, and the Sunderland spelling had been crossed out and replaced with the Newcastle spelling as well. Absolutely incredible stuff.
Ridiculous.
And part of the justification that was given for this idea was, Newcastle fans are less likely to smash it up if we paint it in their own slogans. How patronising is that?
Yeah.
But what I love though,
But it feels like we're at home here.
it did look like that Newcastle fans had broken in and
Yeah.
done a job
Yeah.
on them.
I thought it was fake. I thought it was like an AI thing at first.
Yeah, and then it was like the Sunderland fans were like, "Oh no!" And the owner and chairman, Kirill Louis Dreyfus, says, "I regret to have let you down."
That's exactly the kind of thing where they're looking up derbies and they're like, well, we haven't had one of these in ages.
What do people do these
what
days?
are derbies like? Banners, a lot of banners.
Yeah.
Banners, I hear you. I see what you're saying.
But I understand why Louis Dreyfus has to come out and say that stuff, and it makes him look like a completely out of touch kind of idiot. But I would imagine there's quite a lot of kind of people to sign that off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think he signed it off personally. That's certainly the
buck stops with him, though, right?
Well, I know that's what he said. Yeah,
But all the way through, from the decision to do it, right way to the person who is is almost certainly local, putting up the signage, thinking it's probably not a good idea. This.
Yeah.
Are we sure this is correct? Yeah, honestly, look at the docket.
I find it absolutely extraordinary.
The thing about it as well is because they've not met for a while now. If Newcastle win this game, they effectively win it twice. Because the bragging rights thing is massive, and this is up there with the most embarrassing things
Who
that
said
have
it on
ever
the-
happened
was
in
it,
this derby, surely.
Was it Gabbiadini on the radio who was saying This will be talked about in 50 years' time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was,
Yeah.
You absolute idiots.
And since the draw was made, I haven't met spoken to a single Newcastle fan who was confident about this game. Literally up until this story came out, and they're like, fucking hell, they're still clowns.
Remembered what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I could have understood if they'd have put certain things up on the walls that would have goaded the Newcastle fans, like the fan and the
Cheer up,
balls.
Peter Reid.
Like,
Catching strays.
poor old Peter Reid.
They were probably like,
They'll be playing Yellow Submarine on the tannoy before they'll come
Peter
out.
Reid was at the bar when they were spraying it on him. Like, what's that there? Oh my goodness, ridiculous behaviour. Now, Newcastle United, of course, they're on a very, very bad run. Luke, you suggested that Eddie Howe could be in real trouble by the end of January.
Watch this space.
Andy Brassel was disgusted.
Yeah, where is he now?
I had to hold him back, actually.
Where is he now? Hiding.
He's hiding. He's retreated up to the northeast.
Yeah, I'm doing stuff with Sky Sports. Pathetic. Oh.
But Andy said he was confident, and at the moment, of course, I mean, clearly in 4 or 5 games' time, if they lost them all, then perhaps Andy would change his mind. But we won't talk about him too much because he's not here, the little slug. But Sunderland, of course, have got a fairly new manager themselves in Michael Beale. Tony Mowbray was sacked at the start of December. And Michael Beale and his young Sunderland team are aiming quite high. Beale said recently when he was talking about this game and he was getting all excited, he said, you do get caught up in things. Watching Liverpool and Newcastle the other night, you think, we could do some of that. And then you remember you don't have Mo Salah.
But not at Newcastle, to be fair.
Well, they're a bit closer.
That's true.
I mean, they were involved in the game for a start.
I think this is set up to be a real kind of interesting game for both these teams, chiefly because like Sunderland will smell blood. The massive own goal aside, it's funny, but I don't think it'll necessarily affect the players or anything like that. And it's just a huge opportunity for them. They couldn't be playing Newcastle at a better time. They're really tired. They've got loads of miles in their legs. They're in a terrible run of form. The pressure will be really high. Stephen Best, I read the other day of Taylor and Bestie fame, was saying if you put Sunderland, obviously a big Newcastle guy, if you put Sunderland's team in a Norwich kit, then I think we'd win. But because it's a Sunderland strip, it just gives everyone a horrible feeling. Like he's saying that before the game, you know. So I think it's a really, really interesting encounter. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Sunderland got a positive result and piled further pressure on Eddie Howe. And just to give you a bit of further context about why I said what I said. You know, when I said it, it was a week or so ago. So they just come off the back of losing to Luton and Nottingham Forest. Then they had Liverpool to play, which of course they lost again. Now they've got Sunderland, we're talking about now. They play Manchester City at home and Aston Villa away next. I mean, it's tough.
This is a big game.
This momentum thing, if they go through those games as we expect them, or perhaps they can do, they'll be in a situation where they've only won 1 game since the beginning of December.
Yeah, I mean, I think to kind of echo maybe some of Andy's points is that I think the fans would be, obviously they'd be very, very disappointed, but I think that everyone has bought into what Eddie Howe's doing and they understand with the injuries and so on. Also, as well, but it's really the owners, though. I mean, clearly the owners don't care what people think, right? You would have thought.
Yeah.
And
so they're not investing the money for the good of their health.
No.
They'll want results out of it.
They will want results out of it. I'm not sure if you know, they even if they lost this game and lost the next 2. I actually tend to sort of agree with Andy. I don't think he'll be under that much pressure. Even though some of the names that are circling Newcastle United's, the potential successor to Eddie Howe include the likes of José Mourinho, which would
just
be
easy, isn't it?
Which would
just lazy stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Vish, you were going to say something.
Well, I do agree with Andy in that, like, the pressure is felt by Eddie Howe to change it around, but there is not necessarily a threat to his job. But this game is a little bit different because the thing about the way Newcastle fans seem to have approached the last couple of months is that they remember where they were. They remember that they got Champions League football, that they gave a good account of themselves in the Champions League despite finishing bottom of their group, because it was they were bottom essentially for the last half an hour of that campaign. But I think defeat here will actually turn the focus off fans onto Eddie Howe, and it might even be purely for this result, but it does bring itself a different kind of pressure. Everything has been pretty like, how great is this? How great is this? And this is probably the first time where they think, if they do lose, of course, they think, fuck no, we cost 500 million. They've got a squad of 20 million, I think. How has this happened? And that'll be the first time they really ask proper questions of Eddie Howe. Because bear in mind, they've had injuries and this, that, and the other, and they've been contending with a lot. But there's no reason man for man, strip away the context of this derby, that Newcastle should come out of this game with a defeat. They have everything within their power, within their squad, however many absentees there are, to get a positive result here.
I think they'll lose the game.
No, that's fine.
But you think Newcastle will lose the game?
No, I think Newcastle will lose.
They don't have a Bellingham though, do they?
They do not have a belly.
That's a really interesting dynamic as well.
Although apparently they are trying to pinch him.
Are they really? Are they really?
Reports suggest they're
wow.
interested.
I wonder how much truth there is in that.
They'll take him home. Imagine that would be the ultimate thing. They turn up despite all this hullabaloo. They hammer Sunderland, tuck Job under the arm, and off they go at the end of the game.
I don't think it works quite like that.
I mean, it is January.
Man City would have done it.
Work like that.
If it does, Man City would have done it with Paquetá.
Can I have Job on my back? I want my own ideas. No. No, there's no more of that.
That's why it's interesting, because people will obviously be very familiar with the Bellingham name. They won't necessarily know that much about Job compared with Jude, and that's understandable. This is a real shop window for him. You know, he's a decent start to the season. He's playing in the hole, like where he can really affect the game, I expect. And if Newcastle have an off day and look as tired as they have done, and get kind of intimidated by the atmosphere, if they've not had such a great time in their away bar, where they feel like it's a home from home, it could be it could run riot. You know, it could be a really interesting one. I actually think, and colours to the mast, I think Sunderland will get a positive result.
You think so?
Yeah. What do you think, big boy?
I think it's intriguing.
Yeah.
I'll get in your slipstream.
There you go.
More.
Usual story.
There we go. Dirty little slipstream.
The game itself should be quite good. Bear in mind how Newcastle are playing in terms of like how they're trying to play rather than what they're actually achieving.
Yeah.
But also just the way Sunderland play as well. Like Jack Clark, someone who's been getting a lot of headlines this year, linked to Brentford and a couple of other Premier League teams as well. Also, just having a good game on TV at the start of January.
Yeah. Massive. It's always massive.
Also, Michael Beale's, I think this will be his 5th game in charge.
Yeah.
Is there a new manager bounce element?
Well, yeah, I know you
like
elements. You do love the new manager bounce.
Depends.
All eyes on that one. Quite frankly,
Absolutely.
I want to turn our attention to a former Newcastle United man, Duncan Ferguson.
Big Dunk.
We spoke about a current Everton striker being sent off just a moment ago. Well, of course, a former Everton striker as well, Duncan Ferguson, did like a red card from time to time. He was sent off after full time on Tuesday night for Inverness's game, because he's manager there, of course. He's not starting striker anymore. This was sent in to us by Mark Wallace. It came less than a month after his last sending off against Queen's Park. Now, after that red card, he said, I thought it was a bit unfair. I never swore. He told me I was gesturing quite a bit on the touchline and moving my arms, but I certainly never swore.
Problem is he had people in those arms. He had fourth officials, the whole refereeing team.
What I love, though, he went
dragging his finger across his throat. I didn't swear. Did not swear.
Raising his fists. And then he kind of talks himself into thinking it should have been a red card. He says, a straight red card was harsh. A yellow would have been enough, but those are the rules towards referees. He was obliged to give the red.
The best thing is,
it feels like he's had a lot of therapy, doesn't it?
it does. At the start of December, he was sent off.
That's right.
From the touchline again as manager of Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
That they won 4-1.
They won the game 4-1. How angry would he have been?
Clean sheet. He loves a clean sheet. He
Yeah.
did say in that game, he was like, we conceded from 2 set pieces. What can you do if your centre halves can't head the ball?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
He can show him a thing or two of that.
Yeah, you can't do anything because you're in the dressing room again.
Yeah. So perhaps a future Newcastle United manager, Duncan Ferguson, there.
Imagine the situation that would need to arise for that to happen.
You know, when they sort of talk about, I don't know, someone who's related to the Windsors and say, well, they're actually 47th in the line for the throne.
Yeah, there was a massive accident.
Yeah.
Like King Ralph, the film King Ralph.
There you are.
I think there would have to be some kind of King Ralph scenario for Big Dunk to be Newcastle manager. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it this weekend.
Like we say, if it's good for your club.
It's bad. Yeah, exactly. It's bad for the Ramble.
Now, there's a lot of non-league teams still left in the FA Cup, incredibly, because we are at the third round stage, of course. Chesterfield, Eastleigh, Aldershot Town and Maidstone United are in there. Chesterfield are 7 points clear at the top of the National League. They travel to Watford. Chesterfield includes some familiar faces, most notably, I would say, former Pompey manager Paul Cook.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah,
he's well loved down at Pompey.
Do you think he's going to piss on the Watford parade?
Could do. I couldn't possibly comment, Marcus. Imagine getting sued by Paul Cook. It'd be so boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be the worst of both worlds, because it's not no one. So basically, if your whole show
Why would he sue us?
gets derailed because you got sued by someone, right? if it's José Mourinho, that's quite a good story to tell the grandkids.
Publicity.
Yeah, I don't want to get
Your
sued
platform.
and ruined by someone that I have to explain to my grandkids actually is.
Yeah.
It's pointless. It's like getting to the third round of the FA Cup, if you allow me this metaphor, and getting drawn away to Notts County. You're probably going to lose. But no one cares. You're not going to be on telly.
Luke, who ideally would you explain to your grandchildren sued you?
What, Paul Cook, I mean?
No, if you could choose anyone.
To your grandkids, KSI probably.
Yeah. I don't think that, well, by the time our grandkids grow up, I don't think KSI will be still young fish. That's not how it works.
Luke Littler.
There you go.
Well, I wouldn't like Paul Cook to sue us for us telling everyone that he pisses everywhere all the time.
Well,
We don't know that he
has to,
doesn't.
surely. Surely he has to.
Yeah.
We're on sound legal ground here.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Paul Cook is not immune from that.
Yeah.
He's not.
But
no.
but do go to the toilet if you need to go
If
to
you're
the
listening,
toilet.
Paul Cook, take us on. Fuck it.
You can drag yourself away from the urinal for long enough.
I tell you also.
If he's even at a urinal, we don't know.
I tell you, who also is involved in Chesterfield. Will Grigg.
Will Grigg.
Will Grigg's on fire.
He is.
Your defence is terrified.
I'd imagine so. But yeah, I mean, if he's playing up front, the defence are pissing themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
What, laughing?
Yeah,
This clown.
depends. Yeah.
Come on. Maidstone United, yes, from the National League South. They're the lowest ranked side left in the competition. They face Stevenage,
Yeah.
the home of Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. At the Gallagher Stadium, where I've actually played.
Really?
I've played at the Gallagher Stadium in a charity match.
Oh, right. Which Gallagher is it named after?
I don't know actually. I'd hope Liam, but probably Noel.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
George Lakobe's manager.
Yes, that's right, former Wolves defender.
Absolutely. And
he was so emotional, wasn't he? At full
Oh, he
time
loved
in the
it.
last round, though, when they beat Barrow. Amazing.
because Barrow having a good season, and Bhivesh Gurung, who scored an absolute peach for Maidstone in that game. Yeah. If you go onto the BBC website, watch it back. It's well worth watching.
Some of the goals, the BBC do us a solid.
But the local commentary is brilliant as well.
Yeah.
The guy can't believe it.
Yeah.
He's basically very much a commentator who watches Maidstone every week.
Yeah.
He can't believe it.
Yeah.
They get so like if you're
It's his moment. His ship's come in.
if you're Peter Drury and you're watching Salah do it again, it's like it's exciting, and you've got your line that you've written, and you're going to say it, and it's going to be good because that's your job, and you're good at it.
He doesn't write lines, by the way.
It doesn't. Okay, in which case he's even better then.
Yeah.
But if you're with the greatest respect to Mason, this is going to sound like a dig. If you're tasked with doing the commentary on their game every week, you're not going to see stuff like that all the time.
But you're also really into them, though.
Yeah, you love them.
So it's a perfect. It's a marriage made in heaven. Jim.
And Bhivesh Gurung is also the only Nepalese, the only player of Nepalese descent I can think of. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to. The fact it's more.
No, he must.
thought.
Well, tell me another Nepalese descent player that's playing in the top 6 leagues. I can't think of any of them.
Well, I can't either.
No, so there we go.
I'm going to have to Gary Neville you.
There's also there's extra kind of cup set an ingredient here in that it's artificial pitch as well.
It is. Yep, absolutely. Which is why I only played about 10 minutes on that. I was like 40 years old at the time and I could not even run.
Yeah, all those years ago. Aldershot Town play West Brom, which is a big one. Southampton-based Eastleigh travel to Newport County. Aldershot beat League Two Swindon Town 7-4 in the first round.
What a game!
All eyes on the shots.
Indeed.
Absolutely. They're a Phoenix club, aren't they? They started again, didn't they, after bankruptcy?
That sounds
back
about
in the
right.
day. Yeah. So good on them.
Excellent stuff. All right, everybody, let's have a quick break.
Average performance, average cup tie, in that we allowed them to win 4-0.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. Now, on the Football Ramble Discord this week, one of our patrons pointed out that there is a road in the famous Portuguese holiday resort, Albufeira, called Sir Cliff Richard Avenue.
Yeah.
There was a lot of chat about wineries and who owns various ones and so on, and of course, Sir Cliffy, got to mention.
It's just sorry, mate. It's just genuinely frightening how far Cliff's tentacles reach.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You think he's a benign presence. He's not. He's like the Demogorgon in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's an article that comes from the Discord that we read. It was a sort of travel kind of almost like a review of Albufeira, where it's very, very long, and only in the last 3 paragraphs does it basically say that the entire town is sort of Cliff Richard themed.
Yeah.
And it says, it's really boring, it's really touristy.
Yeah.
It's entirely Cliff Richard themed. Yeah, it's fine.
If you anger Sir Cliff Richard enough, his whole head yawns back like a Muppet's mouth, and he's got 750 sharp teeth in there.
Is that right?
And he'll kill you.
Yeah. Didn't show that on the BBC, did they?
No, they don't. the biased broadcasting corporation, Jim. Unlikely.
Well,
unlikely you're going to hear that.
If you want more searing hot chat like that, and there is some other football-y bits as well, get over to patreon.com/Football Ramble, become a friend of the Ramble for just $5 a month and join the Discord. You also get access to an extended edition of the Football Ramble every Wednesday, so get yourself over to patreon.com/Football Ramble right now. Gentlemen, let us follow up on the Argentina retiring the number 10 jersey chat. Of course, we discussed that recently. Argentina going to retire that jersey when Lionel Messi bows out. Well, we had a few listeners point out that Argentina tried to do this before for Diego Maradona in 2001, but FIFA wouldn't let them.
Yeah, because FIFA were like, we didn't think of it first. That's what I mean.
That is it. Yeah, under FIFA rules, teams had to use numbers 1 to 23 at the World Cup, of course 1 to 26 as well, as of 2022. So it can't be done, Jim.
Apparently not, although Infantino's around now, isn't he? And he's a fucking idiot. So he might try and do it because he thinks it's popular, which is the whole reason that Argentina are doing this, aren't they? They're in the midst of a sort of wave of populist ideas that are really bad.
Yeah.
So it seems to have gone into the AFA as well.
Yeah. I think the other thing with this is the AFA president, Claudio Tapia, even just by suggesting it and if it does get rebuffed, he's already done his bit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I wanted to do it, but the
woke
PC
lefties.
Yeah.
The woke lefties stopped me.
Right, big one on Sunday afternoon. Arsenal versus Liverpool. 2 weeks since their 1-1 draw at Anfield. Jim Campbell, how are you feeling about this one?
Nervous. Also, I think actually it's probably a good time for Arsenal to play a very, very good opponent because they have to be better. So sometimes it's a good thing. You have to raise your standards because you know you're not going to get an easy ride.
They didn't manage that against Fulham, though, did they?
Well, no, they didn't. And that's exactly the...
someone better.
Yeah.
Proved it.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can't really take on two absolute titans, juggernauts of the game in a row and expect to play like that.
In Liverpool and João Paulino. Jim, Arsenal have been complaining again, this time to Pugmol, over what they believe to be rough treatment of Bukayo Saka from opposition players. Saka is the third most foul player in the league, with 87 fouls committed against him. Bruno Guimaraes is ahead of him with a few more, just on 92, but way out in front is Jordan Ayew of Crystal Palace
surprising
on 117. You don't hear Roy moaning, do you?
No, well, you might.
You do.
He moans a lot.
Not about this.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't thought of it.
Also, Jordan Ayew's like well into his 30s now. Leave him alone.
Do you think
that's a really odd man to rotate fouls on, isn't it?
Do you not think it was always Wilfried Zaha was the most fouled player?
Yeah.
And do you think they've thought, right, we're so used to taking out a Palace player.
Someone.
Yeah. They've all just gone, he's slow enough for us to catch on.
Yeah, because Palace...
not that slow, that's harsh, sorry.
Yeah.
Palace have Elise.
Yeah, I know, but they just can't catch him.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, isn't it? Like, Arsenal don't endear themselves to the wider... And first of all, shout out to Pugmol for being the second best 5-letter acronym in football after Dogzo, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Dogzo's the best one.
Uh-huh.
Then Pugmol's second
not
best.
bad,
So it's great. It just occurred to me it's great to hear you say it. So
That's all right.
I enjoyed that. But Arsenal aren't really Arsenal aren't really endearing themselves to the wider football community. I know that's not their intention. I know they probably don't care. But it's a bit cringe, Jim, isn't it? I'm going to push you on this. It's a bit cringe, isn't it?
Here's why I think that's complete bollocks. This is from a conversation with PGMOL that wasn't essentially public. Also, this does happen, seen with my own eyes many, many times. Saka gets rough treatment, and it's not just about the fouls that are given here. It's about the fouls that aren't given.
That's a fair point.
It sounds like they're asking for special treatment for him, but actually what they're doing is highlighting a situation where the rules are consistently not being applied. Fouls are rotated, the early one gets put in, and it happens to other players, but I think Arsenal have a duty to try and protect their own players. And when they're talking to PGMOL about the 1,000 other complaints they've had, might as well sneak that one in. I think it's completely reasonable.
This side does highlight it as well. Referees are now aware of this.
Yeah, it's not like they've called a press conference to tell the world this.
From Arsenal's point of view, it's actually quite a clever thing to do. Yes, it may sort of make people think that they're whinge or whatever. It's a bit Sir Alex Ferguson-esque.
I totally agree with Jim here because what's happened here is a private conversation has got out, fine. It's almost certainly not been leaked by Arsenal. It's almost certainly a conversation that hasn't been exclusive to Arsenal. And we know that for a fact, given how open PGMOL have been in their dialogue with other clubs. And obviously, we can talk about Wolves and the apologies and things like that, but it's been consistent all the way through. They sent representatives to all 20 Premier League clubs at the start of the season with willingness to actually have a back and forth dialogue, this is actually their own fault. So if there is going to be a conversation about maybe Arsenal shouldn't be doing this, maybe other clubs shouldn't be doing this, that's the PGMOL's fault. They wanted to see themselves, they wanted to become a more open organisation. They wanted to be friendly, and I don't think there's a problem with that at all. I think that's absolutely how refereeing generally, when we talk about higher-ups, should go. Everyone should know the laws, everyone should be au fait with process and things like that. I've got no problem with that at all. But with the back and forth, they are going to be privy to conversation, or conversations are going to start that they don't start themselves. And this is a great example of that. And as Jim alluded to there, you'd much rather it was behind closed doors like that, rather than someone mouthing off in a press conference at the end of the game.
Which Arteta also has done several times this season.
Which he has, but this is a completely different thing. He hasn't complained necessarily about something like that.
You don't know who's leaked that news. You don't know who's leaked that. It's perfectly within Arsenal's purview and their capability, and to their advantage to leak it.
Well, I do agree with that. I mean, we don't know.
I don't, but is it really?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Because the conversation has been about Arsenal being moaners.
It's absolutely in Arsenal's benefit.
But this is not a new thing. This has been something that's been talked about for a while.
Sure,
I'm pretty sure Arteta has brought this up. Ages ago.
Arteta in February last year said that Saka can't rely on refs to protect him.
He said it more than once.
But that's ancient history now. This will get everybody talking, as we are right now, about Saka being
exactly. That's
so
exactly
it highlights it. It highlights it, and even if it's subconsciously, the referee, when giving decisions now, and if Saka's being fouled, they will be more aware of it. So whoever's leaked it, I totally take your point, Vish, but
this has been the kind of thing that Sir Alex Ferguson used to do all the time.
Well, that's right.
It's everything you said about Pugmole is fair, and I think they have tried to be more transparent. I think Howard Webb has tried to lead them forward in a certain direction, which I think overall is a good thing. I think he's been undermined in a number of different ways, basically by some less competent people than him. So Michael that's Owen. Fine. I get and Michael Owen, who he must have had sign off about working with Michael Owen. I don't know why he chose to, but anyway. But what I would say is there is a feeling, and Jim, who supports Arsenal, may think it's a kind of manufactured thing by the internet and by the commentariat and all the rest of it, and that's totally understandable. But there is a feeling throughout probably last season and this season that Mikel Arteta is the type of character who, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know him, so who knows, wants to single Arsenal out as being some kind of exceptional type case. He wants some Arsenal exceptionalism is part of his makeup. And that's actually not that new in terms of Arsenal.
Top managers do it all the time, though. You could argue that Klopp does it at Liverpool and Guardiola to a lesser extent.
So, even Ten Hag, over United's worst period so far, has thrown a few different things in there.
Loads of managers.
They've all got their little passion projects. Like Klopp's is the fucking 12:30 kickoff, isn't it? Pep Guardiola's got a different one.
Shouldn't have them.
But what you need to do is you have to be objective enough to be able to say, look, I don't think Richard Keys is right, because I think he's a complete fucking moron. But he comes up with stuff about Mikel Arteta, and Mikel Arteta does behave in the way that gives someone like Richard Keys, who's not got a brain in his head, the excuse to bag on him. The way Arteta behaves in the touchline, the way he behaves he's very emotionally led. This kind of stuff. It's not beyond him, the same way it wasn't beyond Ferguson. Ferguson knew exactly what he was doing when he'd be undermining Alan Wiley, or they're all doing it. So I don't think it's fair to say you can dismiss it and say Arsenal haven't leaked it, because they may have.
Well, I just don't. I think for those reasons, actually, that's why I believe that they haven't leaked it, because it's not in their interest to do so, because you're just giving people more of a reason to think you're moaners.
Whether they've leaked it or not, we could sit here and argue the toss all day. The fact is that there will be more focus on Saka as a result of this, which, from an England point of view, is a good thing, because he'll be fitter. It is January, of course, and the transfer window is open. Brentford manager Thomas Frank said yesterday that it would take an unbelievable offer for them to sell Ivan Toney, and Arsenal have been linked to Ivan Toney.
It's just not going to happen, though, is it?
I don't.
They're not going to get Toney now and Mbappe in the summer. They're going to have to
I love it.
Yeah,
you're going to be gutted when he goes to Liverpool and Mbappe, aren't you? So you think Arsenal are not going to bid for Toney?
I don't. Well, so the Premier League rules state that you can only loan one player from a particular club. So with David Raya already on loan from Brentford, I just don't think Arsenal would have the finances to get Tony now without some sort of really beneficial loan that meant they could pay for him later. So Frank's put I can see you smirking. I'm looking forward to what's coming, but I'm going to get my point out. Thomas Frank's still, I don't know if it's come from Frank, but 100 million is being mooted, obviously to scare clubs off or to sort of test Chelsea's waters.
Yes, that's right.
I don't think Arsenal can compete.
That is
market.
Massively what it is. We're not selling him, and someone just whispered, "Remember, Todd Bowley's in charge of Chelsea. We wouldn't sell him for up to 100 million. Wink, wink. Yeah. Let's see.
I think one thing's for sure. Like I think Arsenal definitely do need someone.
They do.
They need someone who can.
Chelsea do as well.
Yeah. Who can essentially, lead the line effectively, but also contribute with a number of different goals.
I tell you who needed more though, Brentford.
Yeah, well, they do. Yeah, of course.
And that's it.
And they've not had him anyway.
Yeah, well, they would be. It would be crazy for Brentford. Despite, to me, it would be nothing is worth it because you're talking about Premier League survival now for Brentford. I think they will stay up.
I think
it would be.
It's going to be a very small window, I think, for Arsenal because of the financial constraints, because of FFP. I think there might be a South American player that no one's heard of come in, or there might be some strange loans, because striker isn't the only position they're short in, and striker is the position, as we know, that costs the most money. And in January, I can't
you went a bit Andy Cole there with your prediction. Could be some South American player no one's heard of. Remember his 2010 World Cup predictions?
No, I don't. Remind me.
Yeah, it should be framed and put on the wall in the National Football.
He basically didn't answer any questions.
Yeah. They said who's going to be player of the tournament or something like that. And he went, yeah, that's a tricky one. Could be someone we've never heard of. Who's going to be young player? Yeah, another tricky one. There's so many players out there that we don't know.
I think it's like there's so many young, talented players out there, so anyone could win young player of the tournament. I think the other thing to say about Tony, and Brassel alluded to it earlier in the week, but the way Brentford have stood by him, I think the motivation from the player himself will not be to leave just yet.
And also, as well, it might seem unlikely because of the football he's missed, but there is an England Euros place up for grabs for him potentially. Now, it would be harsh on Watkins if he didn't get it, the shift he's put in and the fact that he has been playing football, of course.
I don't think he can pick Tony. He can't pick him.
But if Tony hits the ground, if he hits the ground, I'm just saying,
to be some second half to a season.
Well, indeed, but Tony is the type of player who could do it.
As someone said earlier, the AFCON thing, players missing and stuff. A lot has been made of the players that are going to go, and how's it going to affect the season and the rest of it. And I want people to understand that for every Mo Salah missing for Liverpool, and Brentford, as you said. It can be a positive thing as well, because for the next 6 weeks or so, or 4 or 5 weeks, Erik ten Hag's not going to have to pick Andrea Nana or Sophie Amrabat, so it can work in your favour.
There's also the newly found benefit United have that linked to Maxim Choupo-Moting. He hasn't been picked for Cameroon.
Yeah, so he's in. Everyone, he's in. He's absolutely. We'll take him. He's not going to the Africa Cup of Nations.
He's not good enough to play for home. We'll have him.
The situation with Andrea Nana, isn't he playing for Manchester United
the day before?
Yeah.
Loves it, doesn't
Strange arrangement.
I mean, Erik ten Hag must be seeing a different Andrea Nana to me. I'll be honest. It's vital that he plays. Is it?
Well, they signed another goalkeeper in the summer, and we've not seen him yet. So maybe he's.
He's their starting goalkeeper.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what Jim just said.
Yeah, I know I am as well. To be fair,
it's a bit like when your parents say you can open your presents from your grandparents after lunch. Oh, I'm excited for that.
Man City don't have a single player going to the AFCON. Ominous, isn't it?
I'll tell you something now. It's going to be this Premier League title this season will be another straight shootout between Man City and Liverpool. I can see it. It'd be one. We had a little kind of season off last season, with Liverpool being below par and Arsenal having a little flirt with it. But ultimately, the recent era of Premier League has been between Man City and Liverpool, right? And I think it'll be the same this season.
It hurts me when you say things like that.
I think because it's true.
Well, it's certainly at this point sort of dragging it slightly back to Arsenal v Liverpool, but putting that into a Premier League context. This season, looking at the way they performed, they don't seem like a team that's going to go the distance. Whereas last season, even before people started to say it, there was a sense certainly among the fan base, it's like, could this be a title push here? This looks really good. It looks a bit too disjointed and janky.
Kevin De Bruyne with a beard.
I know.
Back as
means
well.
business. They say he's been injured, but he's actually been out he's done a James Hetfield. He's gone out into the wilderness and hunting for 6 months.
Yeah.
All I'll say is that Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League have both still got to go to Craven Cottage.
Yeah, and that'll be the kingmakers, as they call them.
Very much so.
The kingmakers.
Because we'll get a vote on that.
Yeah.
It's like in Succession where they all go into a room.
Yeah.
Republican leader.
Yeah, more of the same, please. Nottingham Forest host Blackpool. on Sunday in the FA Cup. Of course, how will Nuno fare in that one? You would have thought that they would win it. There's been some controversy with Nottingham Forest and their sale of Jonjo Shelvey this week. When Big Jonge left in September, Forest announced that he'd left on an 8-month loan, when in fact they had actually terminated his contract and let him leave on a permanent deal.
Because they couldn't have any more loanee players out, right? So
I feel sorry for the Forest fans who were upset that Shelvey was leaving. They thought, but at least
he'll be back.
He'll be back at some
Sam
point.
Collymore all over again.
At least we'll see some more of those 60-yard passes into the stand and get a load of abuse.
Yeah,
but no, they've missed out on that. This is basically a story about poor admin, isn't it? That's what football's come to now.
But it's Jonge, isn't it? Chaos swells around him.
That's true. I sometimes feel like there's more football than there's ever been, and somehow media outlets are still finding time to cover this.
But it was the nature of, I suppose, the quote-unquote cover-up, like Nottingham Forest deleting tweets, announcing...
The plot did thicken a bit, didn't it?
Announcing Shelvey's departure.
It was very, very strange, but we're all here for it.
We are all here for it. We're always here for Jonge.
Yeah,
and that's why I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
He's not getting a job here, but if he carries on playing, that'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
Would you like him to be revealed WWE style for the Newcastle for the Sunderland Newcastle game?
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
That would be very strange, and I'd like to see the admin on that. But yes, of course.
Actually, given the track record with admin, it's probably best.
He strikes me as a man who has probably used the phrase "get your facts straight" a lot in his life.
Yeah,
and this is just a further example of why he needs to.
Would he be serving drinks in the away end in the bar?
Do you reckon he called up Marinakis once? This is your fucking fault.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football.
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, it's Jack's Encyclopedia, hosted by me.
The Discord are pumped for me to win today.
Some of them are.
We'll see how this goes. First game of 2024 as well. How exciting!
Yeah. Starts mean to go on.
It's a simple game of categories. If you go too slow, I'll play Gary Neville's Orgasm. That's 7 seconds long.
Which is still the best piece of content Gary Neville's ever done. After all this stuff.
That's harsh.
It's a harsh studio, mate.
It's up there.
Marcus, you are the lineal belt holder, having taken it off Jim with the final Jack's Encyclopedia of 2023.
It's nice when you got the belt, isn't it, Jim?
I can't remember.
I don't know either.
That was where we were meant to have a dig at Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had it as well, yeah. You wouldn't get
Jim
it.
doesn't want to be along with the evil empire. He doesn't want to get involved with
I love how you're trying to spin this on
me and Jim are the plucky underdogs here.
While we're talking about it, official game archivist Jimmy to the B compiled a 2023 deep dive. Marcus, you of course finished top with a 52.48% win ratio.
Wins again.
Jim, you're second with 34.74.
Well played, Jim.
That's 0.12 above me in third. Andy finished fourth on 28.79. Pathetic, really.
Get on with it.
Luke, you're bottom of the table, 14.52.
I'm below Jules.
Yeah. Still yet to win the lineal belt, as we've jibbed you about already.
Never had it. I'm like Frank Bruno. And hopefully this is my Oliver McCall.
There's a lot of talking for someone who hasn't had it.
Do a lot of talking generally.
Right, the first category. The players who've won the FA Cup 4 or more times. Oof. 25 of them. I'm going to start with Jim because you're sat to my left.
4 or more times.
4 more times, 25 players.
I'm going to go with Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggsy Wiggsy is...
I'll have Gary Neville.
Gary Neville.
Oh, God. Let's go with Roy Keane.
Roy Keane has won it. Jimbo.
I will go with Petr Cech.
We'll like that.
Yep.
Ashley Cole.
Safe answer that. He's won everything. Okay, could I interest you in a little bitty slice of Frank Lampard?
You can. 2 rounds through.
I'll give you one John Terry.
Damn it! I'll have Paul Scholes.
Nice.
Paul Scholes scores goals. And he also wins the FA Cup 4 or more times.
It's quite fun, isn't it? Because you don't think of Alex Ferguson's United as having a massively brilliant record in the FA Cup.
Stop stalling.
Do you know what? Just to build the kitty up, just have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to show some fucking respect.
Oh my God.
And go for Fizzer.
Well played.
Phil Neville. Incorrect.
And you're out.
You didn't need to do. You didn't need to showboat at this juncture.
No, you didn't.
I couldn't think of any other players.
So fourth round, I think this is Jim Marcus still in. Jim, go.
So, I'm going to go for Patrick Vieira.
Oh,
I think he won it with City as well.
Well done, Jim.
Well
Good
played.
guess.
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel.
Was he there long enough? No, he wasn't.
Jim's got the
Jim's
round.
got the
Jim's
point.
got the point.
Well done,
1-0
Well
to
done,
Jimothy. I'll just pick up some random names here that you didn't mention.
How many were there in total?
25 in total.
You did all right there.
Seaman, Bergkamp, Drogba, Mark Hughes, Ray
Nice.
Parler,
Right.
Solomon Kalou,
Nice.
Imagine putting him out the fire. That'd be
Paulo
incredible.
Ferreira.
Paulo
Right.
Ferreira as well. That's a good one.
I know, very random. Second category here, a Weirtine one
Oof.
ahead of the big game on Saturday.
I've already known. I'm done.
Players who started on both teams, 22 answers. The last time they played, March 20th, 2016.
Oh, man.
Marcus, you're going to start here.
I really don't want to start here. This is ridiculous.
This is hard.
Yeah.
Stephen Taylor.
Good safe bet.
He played Gary Neville very quickly there.
Very quickly.
I don't think it's right. I think he left before that. Yeah.
Every host has got their own interpretation of the rule. That's how it goes.
2016.
It's me next, right?
Yeah, it's Luke next.
Albert Luque.
No, too
Albert
early.
Luque, what are you
No,
doing, man?
No, Jim couldn't tap in.
I just remember him scoring against Sunderland. That's
Yeah,
all I
but that
remember.
bit-
Jack Colback.
Oh, that could be a good one. That either side. And he's done it.
Jim wins.
Done it. Oh, shit, yeah. What? Sorry.
Wash out again.
Blimey. What a win for Jim.
Easy one there.
What a disappointing round. You could have had Alexander Mitrovic,
Oh.
Jamal Lascelles,
Oh, Mitrovic
Jermaine
scored, didn't he?
Defoe,
Did he score? Oh, Defoe, yeah.
Musa
I wouldn't say
Sissoko.
Jermaine Defoe's like massively famous for being a
No.
Sunderland player.
No, but just
Yeah, but that volley
you think
he scored.
you think about the winner, yeah.
It's the years, isn't it? The years
Yeah.
make it hard.
They do make
Don't
it
when you get to
hard.
our age.
Well played, Jim. You got the belt back.
Well done, Jimbo.
I was going to ask actually if anyone's up for doing a third one, but
Nah.
Jim's already won. None of you want to do it, so that's fine. Jim, well done.
Well hosted though, Vish, actually.
Well done, Vishy.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Do I get a point for that?
Yeah, you can give a point for next time, mate.
Yeah.
Carry it over, yeah.
Jim's got the belt, everybody.
Well done, Jimbo. As long as Marcus doesn't have it, I'm happy.
Really?
Yeah, it's palatable for me.
Why is that?
I'll take Jim all day long.
You've done an
The
Arsenal
excellence
here,
of
haven't
execution
you?
over here.
You've done Arsenal
I
here.
have
You
done.
think they were fourth at New Year, but you were lineal champion. They've already lost
I just
it.
think it's overall quite depressing to be losing a game of something where the winner gets it with saying Jack Colback. It's just it's quite a depressing life, isn't it?
Oh, dear. How, are you going to apologise to all those people that you asked for their support on Twitter?
No, we go again, guys.
We
The
go
team are behind
again.
me.
I love it.
I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and they'd still support me. We go again. The team are behind me. The Luke Nation and Jack. One day, what's going to happen is I'm going to win,
You're going to march
and
up
I'm
to
going to have a
Parliament.
massive party with all of them.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a great time.
You're going to have a great time.
And you'll have to stand outside.
It's going to be a great time. It's going to be the best time.
Is that Nick Hewer?
God.
Do you want to have a bit, Nick Hewer?
I'll never say no to a bit of Nick Hewer.
Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble preview show sponsored by Betfair, part of the Acast Created Network. Join us tomorrow for the mailbag. Do join us. It's going to be great. I promise you. Follow us on Twitter, currently known as X, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Football Ramble. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app. The keys are in the lock. The gate is open to the weekend. It's FA Cup third round, everybody. It's going to be a cracker. Thank you, Luke Moore.
Thank you for opening the gate, Marcus, on behalf of the Ramble Nation. Very much looking forward to the FA Cup this weekend. See you soon.
Yes, thank you for Tushan and Haraja.
Could have had Wabi Kazri.
Another one.
bloody hell. Imagine getting him.
Wabi Kazri.
And thank you, Jim Campbell.
See you later.
See you soon, everybody. Tomorrow, more specifically.
Thanks for watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're feeling extra generous, why don't you like this video? Why don't you like this video?